my name is Louise, and today I'll show you how to make these gorgeous frozen inspired bath fizzies in the color of Elsa's dress. And they're shaped like snowflakes. When you put them in the tub, they fizz and they make the water a beautiful teal color. So come on, let's get started. The first thing you'll need to make these frozen inspired bath fizzies are 1 cup of baking soda, and I use this kind, but you can use any kind. You pour it in a bowl. I'm using a recyclable bowl. Actually, it was a Cold Stone Creamery cover, but use any bowl that you're not going to use for actual baking. And then I need 1/2 cup of cornstarch, and I use this kind of cornstarch, but you can use any kind again. And you put that in there. These are all the dry ingredients. Then, this was kind of hard to find, but this is called citric acid, and they use this for canning things. And you need 1/2 cup of that as well. Pour that in there. And also, your last dry ingredient will be Epsom salt. And I got the Epsom salt that's already scented, but you can get plain Epsom salt if you like. And you also need 1/2 cup of this. So now I have my 1/2 cup of Epsom salt. So I'll mix those all together, and I use disposable gloves. You don't have to use disposable gloves, but I choose to use them just to keep my hands clean. And I'll kind of mix all my dry ingredients together. Give it a good mix to break up all the bumps. Okay, and now I'll start adding my wet ingredients. Now I use olive oil for the oil, but you can use any kind of, bath oil or body oil. And I need 2½ tablespoons of olive oil. So there's 1, and there's 2, and 1/2 more. Okay, that's good. Now when you're adding your wet ingredients to your dry ingredients, you have to make sure you mix so that way you don't start the reaction. You don't want it to start reacting. If for some reason it does start to react, then just mix some more dry ingredients into the part that starts to react. And mix that in there. Quite a bit of powder here. Then the next thing you're going to add will be your essential oils. Now, I'm using lavender because I really like lavender, and you can use, any kind you like, but I like lavender. It helps you go to sleep, and it's very relaxing. So I'm just going to put, 1 or 2 drops in there. This is pretty strong, so put as much as you like, or as little as you like. And mix that all together. Now, since this is frozen inspired, I wanted it to be kind of the color of Elsa's dress. So I'm just going to put 1 or 2 drops to start and mix it in. And it will look kind of light. See how it started reacting? So I have to mix that in, mix it very well. And since I want it to be kind of blue, then I'm going to add a little bit more. It will look kind of light in your bath fizzies. So, put as much or as little as you want. Now, if you use this dye, now this is just food coloring, but you can find online dyes that don't, leave any marks in your tub. I'll try it later on and see, what happens to my tub, because the other ones I've used before have been pretty lightly colored. So I'm just going to mix it in here. And it's starting to get a little bit blue. I don't know if you can see that. Very light blue. So I think I'm going to I have to add it little by little because then it starts reacting. And I'm just going to mix this in here. Ooh, it's getting to be a nice shade of blue. And I mean, the kids will love this if you put it in the bath. The lavender will relax them. The fizzing of the bath fizzies is very exciting to watch. And the colors will just turn the water blue like pool water. Wow, it's getting to be a nice shade of blue. But I want it to be a little brighter, so I'm going to add a little bit more. And the last thing that I'm going to add after this will be just the water. Because, of course, you need it to be sticky enough that it's going to stick in the mold. So I'll just keep mixing here while I get my water. So now I'm just going to add a little bit more of this blue food coloring. And so far I've used probably about half the bottle because I want it to be nice and blue. And I don't know if you can see it there, but I'll show you. See how blue that is? It's going to be nice and blue. And I guess I'll use less water since the blue I put in there, the food coloring, is helping it to stick already. See how I can kind of clump it in my hands a little bit? And that's exactly what I want because I want it to stick in the mold. So I think now I'm just going to add a little bit of water. And I'm going to try with 1 tablespoon to start. I don't want it to be too wet or too dry. So I'm just going to add a little bit. It starts fizzing. See how it starts reacting? I have to quickly mix that in. I don't want it to start reacting before it's in the bathtub. Just going to mix that in. And some people use a spray bottle to add the water, but I actually prefer to just add it kind of drip by drip. So I'm going to put a little bit more. And start mixing that in. Wow, this is going to be a beautiful blue color. The kids are going to love this. I can't wait to try this in the bathtub and turn it pool water blue. It's going to be so much fun. And of course, it looks like the color of Elsa's dress, which is exactly what I wanted. So I'm very pleased with the color. And that was about, as I said before, about half of the little container of food coloring. So, and you can get, other coloring online. I think it's a powder coloring that, like I said, won't leave any lines in your tub. But I'll see what this does to my tub. And I mean, if it leaves a little blue line, I'll just grab my magic eraser and get rid of that. So now, let me see if I can clump this, and I'll just kind of show you, because it has to be able to stick in my mold. So I think it's clumping very nicely, and I'll show you the mold that I'm going to use. Since it is frozen inspired, I'm going to use this silicone mold that has snowflakes in it. And we'll see how that turns out. So what I'll do is set down my mold there and mix a little bit more. Okay, I think this is ready to go. I'm just going to do my little extra mixing. I guess you can't really mix too much. And I'll squeeze it in my hand again tightly to make sure that it will keep the shape. See how it kind of keeps the shape in my hand? So I think that's ready to mold. I'm not sure how many of these I'll be able to make, but I'll try to make as many as possible. And look, what a beautiful blue color that is. Just going to do my final mixture, and then I'll start putting it in my molds. Now when you put it in your molds, you want to push it in every single part. This is going to be a little bit messy, which is why I have my table covered in plastic. And you want to overfill your mold so that you can really press it down in there, because if you don't press it down, then it won't be hard enough. You're going to press it down into your mold. And this is the first time I'm trying this mold, so we'll see how this comes out. So there we have one. I've pressed it nice and hardly in there, see? There's the first one. And now I'm going to press some more in here. See how many this makes. And you can use other molds. It doesn't have to be silicone. Silicone is kind of soft, so sometimes, the mold will have the possibility of breaking because it is soft, and sometimes they'll come out, perfectly fine. I've also used other things, ornament holders to make round ones, or Easter eggs, plastic Easter eggs that you always find lying around the house. Those are perfect for making molds. But since this is frozen inspired, I decided, why not use my little cupcake silicone mold, which of course I will not be using for cupcakes after this, because you have to make sure that you only keep it for making your bath fizzies after this. So I'm going to finish pressing them in there. Okay. I think I'll be able to make about maybe 5. I'm thinking maybe 5. So I was actually able to make 6 snowflake bath fizzies, and this is how they look when they're molded. And like I said, I'll give them about 2 to 3 hours to dry, because I want to make sure that they are nice and hard, and then I'll try them in the bathtub and I'll let you guys see how that looks. Now the moment of truth. It's been a few hours, and so now I'm going to take these bath fizzies out of their molds. So hopefully nothing breaks and everything looks good. So let's see here. I'm going to turn it over. I'm just going to put this on top and try to turn it over that way. Let's see what happens. Okay. There we go. I'm gently going to tap on the top of each one. And they're in there really tightly, so hopefully they kept the shape of the mold. See what happens. Okay, trying to loosen the edge a little bit. So I got one out, and the way I did it was I had to peel back the silicone like this. Just peel it back a little bit, and look at that. Beautiful snowflake bath fizzy. So I'm just going to do the same with all of these, and hopefully they all come out okay. I was worried that they were going to break, but actually they came out okay. Oh, there's a little piece of baking soda. So now I'm taking out the last two of these. There we go. This one looks really good. And it's a nice, good size. It'll be so much fun to put in the bathtub. And as I said before, I will definitely show you what this looks like in the bathtub and how it turns the water blue. So now I've taken all my bath fizzies out of their molds. And here I have 5 of them. The 6th one I'll actually drop in the tub in a second. But look how gorgeous they are. They came out with the complete shape, and thank goodness none of them broke. I'm very pleased with them. And let's see what they do in the tub. So here we go. Now I have my bath fizzy. I'm going to drop it in. Wow, isn't that gorgeous? Look at the color of that. Now I'll give you a little warning. It has oil in it, so it can leave the tub a little bit slippery, but it's not that bad. And I actually tried one of them before, and I noticed that it didn't do much staining in my tub at all. In fact, I was able to just rinse it clean with water. So gorgeous. Now you can make these lightly colored if you like. You can make them with less dye. You can make them any color you like also. So I hope you like this video. Please like it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And next time my video will be shorter, I promise. And I will do something that is a lot of fun.